Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Appo, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the streaming services and we tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth it and what is not. But today we are telling you, the listener and the viewer, whether or not this is, what's man's name again?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson's wildest movie of all time.
Yes, it also, I mean, is this the wildest movie of all time?
This is a good question that will be answered today. Both of those questions will be answered today in the next 45 to an hour. That's when it's going to be answered.
I don't know if we're going to get through an hour of talking about this movie, but we'll do what we do.
Now, Vincent, in the lead up to the much anticipated The Batman, which is coming out March 3rd, we thought we'd just dive into the Robert Pattinson world and we'd jump into The Lighthouse specifically. And I'm talking about 2019's very own The Lighthouse, starring Robert Pattinson and, the incomparable Willem Dafoe.
Absolutely incomparable.
Now, these are two heads that are now making their way into... I mean, obviously, Willem Dafoe's been a part of the superhero world for a while with his Green Goblin performance, but our Pats is taking a step into that realm now as well.
So I think that's why he made this movie, because it was like the last just absolutely buck wild type of movie that he could make before he's out there into superhero stardom.
Because once you're in superhero stardom, you can't just be doing The Lighthouse 2, You can't be doing the sequel to The Lighthouse.
Bro, I don't know what sequel this would be. It'd just be damn Ephraim Winslow like in some depths of a shed doing all sorts of ungodly things.
Just covered in barnacles.
Just covered in barnacles. like that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where man's just is the log in the ship.
He's connected to the wall, is what Vincent is saying.
Yeah.
So, Vincent, I want to touch on some things first before we get into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about the facts. Then I'm going to give some talking points. But really, this is just so wild. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
I don't know.
But
we're just going to be talking about. I mean, look, I've got themes here on Wikipedia. I got style. I got psychoanalysis. I got mythology, and I got android eroticism.
Oh yeah, bro. We got to get into android eroticism. I mean, we're going to talk about Prometheus. We're going to be talking about android eroticism. We're going to be talking about all these big words that mean something that I don't understand.
That's right.
But Vincent, this is the A24 joint. But this has got the 90% on the Rotten Tomatoes. It's got the 7.5 on the IMDb. Now, it had a budget of $11 million and made a total of $18.3 million. Vincent, I'm going to give you the synopsis if I can find it, and then we might just get into the talking points.
I think we're just going to have to do that.
So this is in a remote island. I think there's syntax errors there. Ephraim Winslow arrives as a lighthouse keeper and assists his elderly supervisor, Thomas Wake. As days pass, Winslow is haunted by strange and mysterious visions. And we're here, Vincent.
And we're here.
Now, if anyone's wondering, I'm not at home.
I was getting strange and mysterious visions after this, after watching this movie.
I was having some dreams, that's for sure. Yeah. I was having some Ephraim Winslow style dreams. Like I was at the logging plant with him, just doing E-frame business. Like others were building A-frames. I was doing E-frame business. But Vincent, just so you know, I actually like this setup, but I'm not at the usual studio that I'm usually at, but I'm on a bit of a trek out to the country, but I'm enjoying this. But I just have to hold my mic like this. So if people see why is this man's holding a mic like this, it's because I just need the pop filter connected.
It's just mic check 1 2.
Now, Vincent, here's the talking points. One, I just want to try to figure out what actually is going on in this movie and tell the people, because it's wild. Two, I want to talk about will and should we get Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in another movie, and specifically should that movie be Willem Dafoe as the Joker and R. Pats obviously as the Batman.
I thought you were going to suggest like a romance, like a light romance with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Because I mean, there was a bit of that in here. Like they could have made one different move, and that's what it would have been.
I mean, and we're talking about androeroticism as well, so that we're going to get into that. But you know, this movie is well and truly filled with many a genre that it falls into along the way, including, you know, horror, including comedy, including you know, a love story of sorts. So we're going to get into that, and then finally, Vincent, we're going to just try to figure out what the ending means, what the whole idea and why they get to that point at the end, what that all means for everyone. All right, because we're going to tell the people exactly what it means, and this is not going to be speculation. This is going to be the facts.
All right.
So let's get into the story itself. Now, it gave a pretty good synopsis there. It talks about Ephraim Winslow, which is Rob Pattinson's character.
What a name!
He rocks up. Ephraim
Winslow. That's a top tier name.
I mean, see, that's an 1800s name that should have stood the test of time, but it didn't.
It just didn't. Yeah.
And it might be because of Ephraim's his specific past, which is not, you know, savoury. Also, I look funny on this couch, man. I got to sit up. I looked all slouched. I look like I'm not excited for life. And then you got Thomas Wake. I mean, so Robert Pattinson goes on. He wants to get some money. These lighthouse keepers get 9 months of pay in 4 weeks, essentially. So he goes onto an island with a man and has to spend 4 weeks with the man. And I'm talking about just with one man. And then, you know, shenanigans ensue from the get-go. There's not one moment in this movie in which I felt that there was not shenanigans that were ensuing, and there was not issues in regards to the plot and the plight of these individuals.
Yeah.
Did you feel that there was no let up for you just from the start?
I mean, I wasn't really listening to that question because I was looking at the popularity of Ephraim as a baby name. And I mean, it's popularity ranked 944 in 2018.
Oh, so there's Ephraim's out there.
That's right. Ephraim's out there. There was 220 babies born in the year of 2018, the year of our Lord, 2018, named Ephraim.
That's respect, man. Go on Facebook. I'm going to go on Facebook real quick, search up Ephraim. I might add them as a friend. Let's see Facebook. So now, can you look at the popularity across the years? Like, was 2017 a big year for Ephraim's?
To 1880. It reached peak popularity in, where was this? In 1938. 2000 and... sorry, I'm looking at this wrong. Popularity rank is, I'm looking the other way around. Bro, there's more people named Ephraim now than there were in like the 1800s, 1900s.
Dude, I got a man named Ephraim who has a mutual friend with me on Facebook. And man's literally looks like he would work on a lighthouse.
Maybe he's the Ephraim Winslow.
He might be the Ephraim. He looks like Ephraim Winslow from this movie. And I'm not even just saying that for content. He looks like the real Ephraim Winslow. So, Ephraim is a popular name, and this movie was set in the 1890s. So, you know, Robert Pattinson's character just came at that boom of the Ephraim train.
No, the Ephraim. I'm telling you, bro. Ephraim. There was no Ephraims in 1890.
I thought you were saying 1880 was when it started.
No. That's when it came back. So we're talking there was 18... In 1880, there were 18 heads called Ephraim born in that year.
Yeah.
But then now there's like a couple hundred. Like
go 95, 96.
95, 96. There's 57 in 95 and 68 in 96. But I mean, look, this website
we're talking 1995. Are we talking 1995?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's think of the percentage of what, you know, the chance that you and I could have been named Ephraim.
Well, I'll tell you the percentage. 1995 for you or me. 0.0...
Well, none of us.
0.02 8%.
So you're telling me like there was a chance that we could have been called E-frame?
There was a chance. That's right.
That's wild. Now, what about, you said 2017 was the boom?
2000 it was the highest popularity rank in 2017. Yeah, 256 number of babies.
Man, imagine you wake up in this world, right? You get introduced to something so different. You're yelling, you're screaming, you can barely breathe because you've been inside of a womb for all this time. You've been supported, and now you're just on your own 2 feet, and you're screaming, and you hear a man's in the hospital say, "Yeah, we're going to call him E-frame." You got your whole life ahead of you, just been called E-frame.
I mean, I don't think there's anything
You
wrong
know
with
what I
that.
mean?
It means it's a Hebrew origin meaning fruitful, fertile, productive. Well, I mean, according to Thomas Wake, man's wasn't productive in this movie.
But was he fruitful though?
I mean,
Probably not, because
I don't
you
know.
wouldn't be getting much fruit on an island like that. Like there would not be much fresh produce for that man. On top of the E-frame thing, I've got some. When I was looking up E-frame, I came back to the Lighthouse thing. There's actually some questions that have popped up that I want us to answer based on the Lighthouse.
Bro, this Ephraim is a biblical name. He's the second son of Giuseppe, founder of one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Giuseppe or Giuseppe? Like your cousin Giuseppe?
No, like Joseph.
Oh. Man's name is Giuseppe.
No, his name is Joseph. I just said Giuseppe because it sounds better.
I thought they had Walio walking around in old Jerusalem times helping out Ephraim.
Walio and Giuseppe.
So, yeah, I mean, look, if we look back, we're all coming from some sort of scripture, really. I mean, I don't know where Vincent comes from, but I know my name. That comes from the scriptures.
Yeah, that's right. Not like holy scriptures, just like something someone just scribbled down on a loose sticky note back in the 1400s in Greece.
I mean, when people came up with our names, they were walking with just a bunch of different letters that they were going to do for like learning and whatnot, and they just tripped over. And they're like, "That's a name."
And man's dropped all of the vowels. All of the vowels were on the floor, and then you had a few consonants, so they had to just kind of carefully work out how to construct a name.
Yeah, dude. If we were on countdown, heads would be just saying, "Can I have a vowel? Can I have a vowel? Can I have a vowel?" No, like you need a consonant, man. It's like, no, I just need vowels.
No. Listen,
we're doing Greek and Italian names. We're doing vowels. So the question that I've seen here is the Lighthouse boring? Now, I think this is a really important question because there's a reason why it's come up, because a lot of people are asking that.
Yeah, because
there's
it's in
two
black
reasons
and white.
why I find it interesting. This is what I'm going to say. So there's two reasons why I find it interesting. One, I find it interesting that people are asking others, like, "Hey, is this boring?" Like, I can't make that decision for myself. Me, an individual. If I don't understand if I'm enjoying this or not. So
but I think they're asking that as in, do they want to watch the movie? Is it a boring movie? Okay, I won't watch the movie.
Oh, that's fair enough. See, I took it from the
your logic
of,
just
they've watched
your
it.
logic just crumbled. You're just crumbling at your feet as soon as you realise that. Oh,
Dude,
man,
you
I
hit
see.
me with a fact
There's
and I was
more than
like-
one perspective here.
Well, yeah, okay. So my first idea is gone, but then the second idea is I think I agree with you, Vincent, in the fact that these people have seen that this is a black and white movie, and they've straight up just said this has to be boring.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go from my perspective. Like, I'm strictly RGBs these days.
Yeah.
So when I see black and white, I'm going, either this director is artsy as all hell, or like they forgot some R's, some G's, and some B's.
And that's the thing. If you're forgetting RGs and Bs, and you release the movie out into the cinemas, and you rock up to the screening, you're like, "Oh man, I forgot the RGBs, man." Imagine that. You just sit down, and you're just like, and everyone's like, "Bro, that was beautifully done. I can't believe you executed it like that." It's like, Man's just didn't pay for the RGBs.
And he forgot to license the RGBs. It was just BMW.
This answer here from Vox.com, it says, "What? The Lighthouse is not boring." Wait. This doesn't even make sense. It says, "What? The Lighthouse is not is boring, but its pyrotechnics aren't designed to mask below par filmmaking." So Mans is saying he did this on purpose, which I agree with, because like, why else would they wouldn't have forgot about the RGBs.
No, that's right.
But I do agree that the black and white element of this movie, not only because it is filmed in that, or it is set in the 1890s, but that black and white and that grainy look just makes you feel more uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. I think, for me, the best part of this film was the art direction, the style that it had. Mm-hmm. And it was like a 3:4 aspect ratio or something. I mean, I don't know if Man's made it just strictly for Instagram, but it was just, it was uncomfortable because it was already uncomfortable, but because you were just on an island with a lighthouse, and with just two dudes. Like that was the cast.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the discomfort. I also want to talk about the shots specifically. Another really uncomfortable thing that I found about this movie was that I was never aware of how big the island was, or necessarily where they were on the island itself.
Yeah,
I think that there was one shot which sort of showed the lighthouse in perspective with the house that they actually live in, but it didn't show the whole scope of the island, and it didn't show that, are these guys in such close quarters that they've got no space to hide from each other, or is this island massive that they can run, but they it's just open space.
Yeah,
and because it never shows you where that where they are on the island, you're also like, if something bad happens on this island, how man's going to escape? Like, is there going to be space for them to run to? Are they going to be able to hide from whatever Cthulhu or whatever happens to be?
Man's just going to be running in circles.
Yeah. Or like, he might get the paddle boat out and do some things. Which does happen late in this movie. The other thing, when you were talking about like the specific filming of this movie, there were some shots that almost gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
There was three, I think, in particular. One was when Willem Dafoe slaps R-Pats.
Oh yeah,
Rob
right.
Pattinson stands up.
It was the start.
It was towards the start of the movie. Yeah, when they first literally their first dinner together, and Rob Pattinson stands up, and his shadow behind him just grows and grows, and Willem Dafoe's just like, I mean nothing by it, like, fella, I mean nothing by it. He just goes straight into his shell. And when I saw that, I was like, hold on a second, what's E-Frame? Like, what's E-Frame up to? That's not one, it scared me, but also I almost got goosebumps just thinking about how well that little scene there was done.
Yeah.
The other thing that I loved was every time they showed the lighthouse, but specifically the scene where Willem Dafoe's, now this is where this movie's going to get weird when you cut it out of context, but where Willem Dafoe's naked in front of the light, and his shadow is like popping up on the wall.
That's the best. I was going like, Robert Pattinson looking up and he's gone. And this man's bare naked body is just getting projected all across the land. Like some ship in the distance. Some ship in the distance is going to be seeing that. It's going to be like, bro, there's a figure in the distance. There's a figure there. And it's just Willem Dafoe.
If you're a boat in distress, and I mean the lighthouse is there to specifically keep you away from that space. Yeah. That's why a lighthouse is there, because they're saying like, there's rocks around this area, don't come through. But also, you're coming close to land. But if man saw the projection of Willem Dafoe's bare naked butt across the seven seas, he would be going back wherever he came from.
That's right. You could be making a 3-month trek to the southern Horn of Africa. You could be two months and 30 days in. You go right back.
Oh, 100%. You're like, whatever spice I was about to pick up, it's not worth. It's not worth seeing this old man's behind. I think that The other terrifying thing is that the other uncomfortable thing about this movie is that whenever they're having a conversation between Ephraim and Willem Dafoe, there's never any sense. Like, there are those times where they laugh together, and we'll talk about the androeroticism in a second, but there's never any sense of whether or not they're not just going to break out into an all-out brawl, or one of them's just not going to stab the other person. They're always, like, from the get-go, they're on edge.
It's always tense.
It's always tense, man.
I mean,
and
I think
a lot of it.
Sorry, keep going.
I was going to say a lot of it is to do with the fact that Thomas Wake, Willem Dafoe's character, he's like I don't know what the word is, but he'll flip and change in his personality in a split second. And I don't know whether that's intentional for his character to be gaslighting and be like, hey man, you're the one that's crazy, but then we'll do some crazy things, or whether he's just outright crazy because he's been living on an island for weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
months.
I think what I was going to say is I think that this movie is just two dudes on an island go mad because they just got two dudes on an island, and there was some things that was hinted at, saying that we've been here for months. We're stranded because of this storm. You absolutely pieced up this bird. We've now had a storm for 40 days, 40 nights, and then like repeat it 40 times.
Yeah.
So I think it's just. I feel like the movie is just kind of like an art, almost like an art installation. You go there, like you can put it on in the background. It's just wild, and you're watching, and you're like, these people are just going mad, and that's it, and that's the story.
Yeah. Like if you went to a museum and you saw that, you'd be like, this is an art installation. Like they've installed this at this museum.
That's right.
And I've watched it for an hour and 27 minutes.
That's right. And you go there into one of those dark rooms, and it's just playing this movie at some part.
I was at a museum one time, and there was a piece, and there was this whole thing, and it was on like the beauty of humans or something. And there was and it was all the like art pieces were videos, so they were like essentially moving art pieces, and
that's what videos are.
I mean, that's what videos are, but like they were in frames. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so they were made to look like this is like a
fancy
picture. They were there, and there was a man that was, he knew how to eat, is what I'm going to say, and he was sitting on a rocking chair, and he was just rocking back and forth, looking directly at the camera. That was the piece of art, and I think I understood more about that piece of art than I did about what was going on in this movie. But both in their own ways are art installations. Do you think so? Like, if these are two men that go onto an island without any other human contact beyond themselves. And of course, if you're on an island within the 1890s, you really lose track of time, especially if you're drinking, candle fluid and whatnot.
Yeah, turpentine,
especially if you're just drinking, you will lose track of time. But what I want to know, Vincent, if we were to be Ephraim and Thomas Wake, who's going mad first out of me and you? Like, if we took the back catalogue abroad to a lighthouse, who's going mad first?
100%
I've got a theory on this though.
100% you. I mean, look, I've been working from home for the past 2 months. Barely ever seen anyone in person apart from my partner. And I'm at the peak of my life right now.
Yeah, but you won't have like computer science things over there.
Yeah, but that's okay because I can write things.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I mean, I sat in my backyard for like half an hour just like staring at the sky.
Yeah, you're talking half an hour. What if I told you you're there for months?
I'm saying that I would be after you. I didn't say I wouldn't go mad. I'm saying that you 100% go mad before me.
Nah, see, this is what I think. I think I'm already at that level. That if you try to extend it, there's nothing to extend here. So like, I'd be on top of the lighthouse. I'd be just like shadow boxing folk. If I started seeing like things like what Ephraim starts seeing, like mermaids and Cthulhu's and whatnot, that's just another thing for me to shadow box. I'm like, oh bro, we subscribe to Peloton, and I'm just fighting folk. Now we've
You
got
just
technical difficulties
Yeah,
over
I
here.
know. We got your internet connection is unstable. I mean, it is what it is. But you're
That's it,
saying
it is
like
what it is.
you're up in the lighthouse. You're up in the light room, and you're just saying like, "Don't come in here." And then I'm there looking up there, and you just shadow boxing folk.
Well, any hallucination that I have, I'd be like, that's just a new training partner. Like we're good here. You know, I'd be literally on there. It'd be the dead of winter. It'd be raining. It'd be cold. The wind will be blowing. Just the water will be splashing up onto the lighthouse, and I'd just be outside, just in my football shorts, just hoodles and whatever I saw.
You'd be like the
And you'd be
UFC
writing books.
Lighthouse
You're telling me you're
edition
going to survive.
253. Sorry.
I'm going to do weigh-ins and everything, and I'll get you to like, you know, be the man that calls out my name. You'll be the Bruce Buffer of the lighthouse. This is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'll be the Bruce Buffer.
I think we'll do well. I think we'll do well. I think we do pretty well. Now, Vincent, let's start to get into. There's a question here that I think is worth looking at, and is the mermaid real in Lighthouse? That's a question on Google, and what I think they're trying to get at is what of this is actually real, and what of it is made up in their minds, and what even is this lighthouse? I think we need to get into this, and I think we need to talk about the
just a
facts.
metaphor?
Is the lighthouse? Yeah, is the lighthouse a metaphor? Is Ephraim Winslow? Is it Arpat's end? Is it the end of his life? Like, is this his? Because a spoiler for this movie, but in the movie, the reason that Arpats is called Ephraim Winslow is because he kills a man named Ephraim Winslow, and he takes his name and takes his identity essentially, so that he won't get caught up in any of the legal affairs, even though he looks nothing like the man. You know, you can't just go to Ephraim Winslow's wife and it's like, say, hey babe, it's me, Ephraim. I love you. It's like, didn't you have blonde hair before you left for work? It's like, no, it's me, Ephraim Winslow.
You just come back, completely different person. Yeah, it's me. Like, what are you going to do? It's the 1800s. You can't fact check him. Like, license and registration, please. Ephraim Winslow. All right then.
I mean, if you knew his first and last name, then of course you must be Ephraim.
Exactly.
This is what I think. This is not what I think. This is what I'm asking you. Did he kill Ephraim, and now he himself is dying? Arpats' character, and he's in some space where it's like he's in a purgatory, in which he couldn't make it all the way to heaven or to hell. He's just sort of somewhere in the middle, and there's no escape from that space.
I think you're reading too much into this.
Tell me what I should be.
100%. I think all this movie is, and I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong by like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But 100%, all it is two dudes on a lighthouse. They've got nothing but themselves, and like that mermaid statue that's given one of them pleasure, and they're just going mad. They just going mad, and then they don't know how long they've been there. They don't know what they're doing. It's just they're just going deeper into madness, and that's all the movie is. I think that's
and
all
I mean,
I think.
That's exactly
fine.
what it could be. And that's 100%, because I think that a lot of people get caught up in the fact that there has to be a meaning for something. Whereas this could just simply be a movie of, hey, there's heads on a lighthouse. How crazy would they go? Which usually, I mean, if you look at the history of lighthouse individuals, they go crazy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's some things that they could have done better. Like, give them some good beds. Give them some good beds. Give them some magazines or something to take over with them, some reading material. Give them something beyond what is, you're taking a whole boat over there to drop these people off.
Yeah.
You can put a couple of things on that boat. It's not like they're driving like a Kia and they've got, only so much room in the boot. They're like, look, we can only take a couple pillows. And
they got a whole boat.
You got cargo on there. You can at least give these people something livable and something nice to enjoy, Maybe some art installations of themselves or some painting kits. But instead, they're given nothing.
Some painting kits. Well, I mean, Mans was knitting at one point.
Was that Ephraim or was that that was Thomas?
Wake.
That was Wake. I know that you're probably looking for something now, but I just want to quickly touch on Willem Dafoe in this movie.
Yeah.
Does Willem Dafoe just hit it out of the park for like? I know that he is the titular crazy of any movie, but does he just hit it out of the park for this movie?
Yeah, he's pretty in the role. The only thing that I think that was, I don't know if it was just me reading into things too much, but I couldn't pinpoint their accents.
Yeah,
were they British? Were they American?
Our
were they half? Yeah, our Pats especially. But even sometimes, my man's Willem. I was thinking, is this guy? He sounds like he's British, but also kind of not.
Yeah, I think from my understanding was our Pats, and I mean this could be a part of the movie that they were like, hey, just change your accents throughout, because it will make people think they're gone crazy.
Yeah.
But our Pats sounded like he was meant to be a New Yorker. And I think as the movie progressed, that New York accent was able to show a bit more, because he was also saying a bit more as the movie progressed. Because initially he was just saying really basic stuff.
Yeah, aye, sir.
But they'll say, aye, sir, or
do you think that's why,
because
he says aye, sir, that's why his eye was getting eaten by the seagulls at the end?
I think that might be it, man. I think that might be it.
I've done it, man.
Or this is the man that this is just that they're just going a loop, and this is the man that Willem Dafoe kills every time.
Yeah,
because the whole idea is that Willem. But anyway, I think that Arpat's voice did get a little bit lost in it, because there was some New York, there was some British, there was some just genuine American. But I did feel also that Willem Dafoe sometimes went from like quite ye old language to just more regular language, then back to ye old language.
Yeah.
And I think that worked well, because there were times in which he was having those monologues in which the ye old language made him sound even more crazy than he was.
Yeah.
And there was the specific scene when he's getting put into the dirt, which is wild, that he was just acting and just dirt was going into his mouth.
Yeah, that was I was looking at that and I was going like, there's no special effects here. Man's is just speaking with dirt in his mouth.
We got Frozen business.
Nah, don't worry about it.
We got Elsa over here.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, my face probably looks funny, but your face looked real funny when it froze up just then. Luckily, we're not recording this off of the Zoom call, but that is what it is.
That is.
So, Vincent, before we get into sort of the back end of this, is there any hits for you? Any things that you want to talk about specifically? Because I see you're searching things.
I'm looking at the mythology and androeroticism here. I'm just looking at I mean, obviously this movie there was a lot of thought put into it, and I like it because it doesn't smack you in the face with like, oh, this means this, and it's meant to be this and this and this. But, you know, there's mythological things. I mean, we always talking about like Promethean stuff, and like, you know, Mans was looking like Poseidon. But I mean, I think there's a lot here in this movie to like. I just think it was a bit too wild for me, personally.
Yeah,
I'm glad I watched it though. I really enjoyed the style of the movie. I liked the atmosphere. I thought the atmosphere was good. You felt like you were there with them. Like you felt like you were there when Robert Pattinson got smacked in the head by Willem Dafoe. You thought you copped a bit of that.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. When there was those scenes where you were at the dinner table with them, or some of the scenes where they were drinking together, you almost felt like you were just at another seat at the table.
Yeah, I mean, I don't drink, but I cracked open a bottle of gin and I thought, well, like I went in the Lighthouse area.
And gin makes you aggressive, man. I know you for a fact, and that 100%. Makes you aggressive. I do agree.
I was shadowboxing everyone in my living room.
The other thing that I think is good about this movie, I mean, look, I'm gonna hit him with this fact again. You put this on in the background of a party that's a good time. This is one of those movies. But you are right. Even if the some of the context of the film is a bit too confronting for you, the imagery and like the way that everything is paced and shot is just it's top tier. It is exact when heads say like this is a movie, this is a movie. But if you want to show some film students, like, this is how you make a movie. This is how you make a movie, like, from the perspective of mise en scène, some mise en scène business, right? Like what's on the screen at any time, but also on how you can frame shots to make some things, something really basic look more menacing or more scary or more claustrophobic than it actually is. This is that movie to show those people. But I mean, look, there's some sexual scenes in this that, I mean, there's just a lot of it, and this is where the andrew eroticism comes in. But there's a bit too much if you're not feeling comfortable with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think it's. I think it's not over the top.
Well, it's not exploitative.
No, that's right. But
it's not to get the person excited who's watching it. It's just to be like, this is what a man who's living on a lighthouse will do after a couple of months. And ain't nothing wrong with that,
Yeah, no, I think
like maybe.
I think every decision that was made with purpose. I don't think there wasn't anything that you thought, oh, that's kind of out of place. This was a wild movie, and they made wild decisions, and that's what you got.
Yeah. And if you want to see Willem Dafoe and then also Rob Pattinson just acting crazy, this is the film to do it.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, he's obviously had a lot of those roles where he does act crazy. I haven't really watched much of R. Patz's career, but
no.
I mean the scene where R. Patz finally, the end part where he starts to literally lose his mind and he finally sees the light up close.
Yeah.
That scene's intense. That doesn't make you feel. And I was watching this with headphones. I would advise watching this with headphones as well.
Yeah.
Because one, I think it immerses you more in the film, and it makes it a whole lot freakier. But also, too, you don't want your loved ones to hear you watching this with the door closed. You know what I mean? Especially that mermaid scene, that genuinely scared me.
Yeah.
When the mermaid starts screaming.
Yeah, I was about to say, she starts screaming.
Rightfully so, because like Arpats is like, he's grabbing things which he shouldn't be grabbing without, maybe asking the person first. But I mean, Mans is marooned on an island. Like, you got to give him a break, especially when you see a mermaid like that's out of this world. And Mans reacted, I guess, appropriately as well as he could have, in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to comment on appropriateness in terms of if like you see a mythical being or not. There's no rules for that.
We haven't developed the rules. We haven't got the means to understand what appropriateness is for that.
The science just isn't there.
It's not there yet. But you never know what's going on. In this day and age, anything could happen.
Absolutely.
Like if we had a Godzilla just pop out of the water, like just a massive Cthulhu or a kaiju just come out the water, I'd say that's a relief at this point in life.
For who? For you specifically?
Just for everyone, man. Like, hey, look, at least we've got something to all focus on, in a positive way.
Yeah, but then it'll be, it'll be in a river or something. It'll be in an ocean and be like, oh, it's actually on your side of the beach. So we're going to stay on our side of the beach. You deal with that. And when you're ready, then we'll open up our side of the beach.
Yeah, like if it comes over here, like maybe we'll do something about it. But right now, it's all yours, man.
Yeah.
Like you just got to do what you got to do. That's a citizen. That's a citizen of your state. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. And there'll be heads that will be like, you can't kill it because native things, and nature.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Now, Vincent, I can't remember what our final talking point was, but is there anything that you want to hit before we leave?
I don't know. Was it just like, is this the most wild Robert Pattinson movie? And I think the answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes.
It's just a wild movie.
Yeah. This is a wild movie. I mean, I'm sure that there's wilder movies out there, but in regards to the mainstream, because this is a mainstream film.
Yeah, but it didn't.
That's the reality of it.
Budget, pretty low budget, and pretty low box office. But critically,
I do understand the low budget,
it did all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I do understand the low budget because, yes, you do have R-Pats, you do have Willem Dafoe. But if they take a smaller paycheck, it's just men in a room, really. It's two men in a room. And, one man naked in front of a lighthouse. So that's, clothing-wise, they saved a bit of money there as well. So I think that this movie is most definitely, if I'm just going to jump into this, I think that this movie is most definitely worth the watch in the lead up to the Batman movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
because you do get to see that Robert Pattinson is more than just Edward Cullen, which I think a lot of people leading up to Batman still believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm just reading like the Lighthouse. What the hell did the Lighthouse even mean? It just says,
tell me what it meant, because I don't know.
Mans was just trying to like brighten up the sky. That's it. That's the meaning. Now I was just saying that Ephraim wasn't of sound mind even coming to the thing because Mans has just killed folk.
Well, yeah, that's right. He didn't come in with the. He came in with the best of intentions, but not necessarily the best of mindset. You are correct. No, I can't find anything that's telling me what the Lighthouse actually means here.
Yeah, I just want a one sentence,
Yeah, because there's a thing that says, if I find it here.
Anyway, we're not capable of distilling meaning from a movie such as this. No, we're just going to leave it there for this week, I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I reckon we should leave it there. But this is what I want to say. This is worth the watch.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting movie.
Now, Vincent, what I want to also know is where we can find ourselves.
Where we can find.
Can you tell them where we can find ourselves? Where are you, man? I haven't seen you for weeks.
I'm just in my house.
You're just in your house?
Just in my house.
See, I've been going to the wrong studio all these weeks. You keep saying meet me at the studio. I've been going to the wrong place. I was meant to go to your house.
That's right. That's why we haven't been together, because I keep giving you the address. You just decide not to go there.
I'm a man of routine. I'm a man of routine and ritual. So if something changes, I'm just going to keep the routine as is, because there's enough changing in my world.
That's right. I mean, you shadow box on a different mythical figure every day. You can't be going to different studio locations. Anyway, Patreon. That is the number one place where you can find us. If you sign up to the Patreon, you send us a message, we'll send a message back.
Yeah, and importantly, Vincent, the other thing that we'll do is not only will we send them a message back, but gosh darn it, we might even send you some cheaper merch. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got merch coming out this year.
That's right, we do. No one wants it. No one asked for it, but we're going to bring merch out. Because they can't stop us. Who are they?
I mean, our bank probably could stop us. Like if we ran out of funds.
No, they can't. They've tried before. They said, like, bro, you're overdrawn, like $1,500. What are you doing? I said, bro, we're doing more merch. They said, carry on.
And they keep rocking up to the studio to try to get that money, but you're at a different place.
I'm at a different place. I'm giving them different addresses.
The IRS can't even track this man down. He's got computer science on lock.
That's absolutely right.
All right, Vincent.
All right, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all down in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Spotify, go to YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating. Because this is 5 stars and I won't let you tell me otherwise. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Yes, Vincent. We're talking soon.